Hi and welcome to the Homeopathy Health Show. I'm Atiq Ahmed Bhatti, a fourth generation homeopath with over 25 years of professional experience and practice in this field of healing. The Homeopathy Health Show is the online voice of homeopathy around the world, promoting and raising awareness of this truly unique system of healing, which is suitable for all ages, young and old. Every week I invite guests from the world of homeopathy to come and share their experiences, their work, offer insights, and essentially talk all things homeopathy. Why not visit www.liketreatslike.co.uk and click on the radio and podcast button to listen to the latest episodes. So let's begin today's show here on UK Health Radio, the world's #1 talk health radio. Hi and welcome to this special two-part episode of the Homeopathy Health Show on the subject of Homeopathy in Practice. Woohoo! And I'm your host, Atiq Ahmed Bhatti. Now, I am absolutely thrilled and delighted to welcome my guests on today's show, namely, and get ready because it's a really, really big list, from the UK, Naila Cheema, who is a Year 4 student at the School of Homeopathy, Kester Wong, who is also a Year 4 student at the school, Rebecca Hepburn, who is a Year 2 student, and then we have Jodie Mortimore, who is a graduate from the School of Homeopathy, as well as Alice Diamond, again, another graduate from the School of Homeopathy. So, hey, it seems like a School of Homeopathy reunion, doesn't it? We also have Sandra, who is a Year 2 student at the Centre for Homeopathic Education. And that's not it. It's not just a UK show, ladies and gentlemen. It is global. That's what makes it actually the world's #1 radio show on homeopathy. We have from Australia, I welcome Sally Sim, who is studying homeopathy with Remedy Academy. And from the United States, we have Anindita Sinha, who is a homeopath based in New Jersey, Carol Richards, and Jackie Turpin, who I know so well indeed. And she is a homeopath based in Canada. So, hey everybody, welcome to today's special episode of the Homeopathy Health Show here on the UK Health Radio Network.
Nice to be here.
Lovely to be here.
It's fun, isn't it? It's always fun, right?
Thank you for inviting us.
No, absolute pleasure. The honor is all mine. And I can see that the energy is great and it's going to increase. Don't you worry. We'll make sure of that. So, it's so many brilliant things happening in homeopathy. And, some of you are students, some of you are graduates, some of you are in practice. And it's such a nice journey, isn't it? Just to, when you start that journey, I remember how, even though it's, as you know, it's been in my family for a while, there's always this sort of anxiety, isn't it, that you're going to start and what is that path about? Where is it going to take you? But what keeps you going? Personally, one thing that has always kept me going is to know that with the skills and knowledge we all acquire, we can genuinely help people with their sickness. And in fact, sometimes just by talking to them, right?
Yes, experiencing that in practice now when I've started supervision, and it's a marvelous journey going through the case with the patient and seeing them getting better every consultation. I'm sure many of you are also experiencing this.
Yeah, even though I know I'm only Year 2, but from my journey, even working with my own homeopath, of from me taking remedies and seeing where I become unstuck with certain remedies, that I can see how that affects my family, the benefits. I always call it the homeopathy halo, that effect. It's
nice. I like that, the homeopathy halo.
I also have a patient who didn't take the remedy yet, but he said he's feeling better, even just after the consultation. Yes, homeopathy is amazing.
I think the big difference is how much time a homeopath spends with you. You never get that kind of attention until you see a homeopath, where you have a long assessment and, people asking you a lot of questions.
At first they think you're quite weird, don't they? But then they actually really lean into it, I've found.
It's the fact that they're listened to. I've actually got a friend of mine who's had some health issues for quite a few years, and she went and saw a homeopath before Christmas for the first time, and she said, I can't believe I was listened to. someone actually listened. I was like, I could imagine all the healing that took place in that room, right, before she'd even touched those remedies, like you just said, Kester, before the remedies are taken. Because so for the first time in years, she'd been actually felt she was heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I even had a patient, I was thinking about remedies after I've taken the case. And in the morning, she messaged me and said, you know, the remedy you are thinking, that is the right remedy because I could sleep so well. So give me that remedy that you're thinking about. This happens. This is all energy of the cosmos working together.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because as homeopaths, I'm sure many of us will have homeopaths that we talk to, right? Because it's very difficult to treat yourself. It's nearly impossible because we have our own personality, right? Or we think we are such and such type, but sometimes we're not. And we can firsthand experience what a patient goes through, right? As homeopaths, when we have a consultation. And isn't it just so wonderful to be able to let go and to get things off your chest, right? It's such a relief. You know, we always we read these things in the book, don't we? And I've said, you know, talking helps, etc. But until you've experienced it yourself, but that relief that happens as a result is so profound, right? That it just really opens things up, and you think, oh wow, somebody listened, and I got it off my chest, you know. And I go one step further, because you can share those things with family, but because they're not homeopaths and because they're not thinking from a different perspective, it's very difficult, because they already know you. So they think, oh, you've got this and it'll be okay. But until you speak to somebody who can empathize in a way which is to do with homeopathy, it doesn't feel the same, right? What do you think?
Is that resonation, like resonating or vibrating on the same level? Or absolutely. I think it is. It's that space, that healing space that happens in a homeopathic appointment.
Yeah.
Also, quite a few times I realized the remedy for myself just by talking to a friend who's not a homeopath, but just talking, and then it sort of hits me. Oh, that's what it is. So when you think for yourself, it's not the same as telling someone else.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because I was not seeing a classical homeopath before I started my journey to become a homeopath. And in between, I found a wonderful homeopath that I'm working with. And I've seen that there's so much change going on. Consultation per consultation, I see so many things going on. And I feel like it's a journey to discover yourself when you're taking homeopathy. You not only see yourself, but you also start perceiving what is going around you, if it is you that is bothering you, or if it is the environment, or is it the environment that is making everything go haywire, or it's just the inside environment that's making everything go everywhere. So it's a wonderful journey, not only listening to the patients, helping them, also helping yourself with the patient.
Yeah, and I think likewise, I think it's homeopathy. When I first started taking the remedy that I resonated with, it was just a remedy that I read in a book, even much before I even started studying homeopathy. So I happened to read that in a book, and I thought, this is exactly me. Much later, I was given that remedy, amazing results. And I think it opened up my awareness at a different level. I was so aware not only about myself, about my own internal path that I have to take, my life journey and everything around me. I could relate to people and I could connect with my clients. It's amazing. It just opens up those energy channels. It just makes you more aware of what is around. It's like you're in a dark room, everything is there, and all the things are there, but you don't see it. But even though you don't see it, it's still there. But suddenly, if you switch on your torchlight, you would only be able to see a fraction of what is there in the room. And if you switch on the light of the room, suddenly you get to see everything. So that's the difference between with pre-homeopathy and post-homeopathy, or taking a remedy. It's it's equivalent to a light being switched on versus just a torch light shining in one single part of the room.
I absolutely love that. That's so good that you said that, that is the truth. That is what it is, right?
And I also think that what it does is it helps you with your intuition. You just develop this intuition around people where you can suddenly sit back. You're not the person rushing in. You're the one that sits back and then can survey the landscape and actually see things that people don't see. And I think for me, it's just made that side of things. So you can see something's going on with somebody before they even realize it themselves.
I've had a few experiences lately, not even homeopathy related, that actually, really makes me think that that's exactly right, what Jodie just said.
One of the beauties that I found is that, there's a saying that you can cut the air with a knife. Do you all know that? Yeah, when there's tension in the room. So if we go one step further, what will happen, certainly if it hasn't happened already, is that you will get to the stage where you walk into a room or you meet somebody, you can smell the remedy. I'd honestly mean that. Yeah. And you could say, well, maybe that's intuitive prescribing. I don't know what it is. Okay. But as you become more grounded in homeopathy and the remedies, and the more people you talk to and the more people you treat, and remember, the more you talk and the more you treat, the more compassion builds. Yeah. It builds up. You can't just be born with compassion. It builds up. Okay. And there's layers of it. And, the softness of the heart doesn't just, it takes time to become, really, really soft sometimes, right? And all of that results in this, that you can smell that remedy. It just happens, or the remedy. I know we've read in the textbooks that, somebody walked through the door and I knew they were, I don't know, a carb. Yeah, we just knew. Yes, you do, but also sometimes during consultations, you'll find you should share, of course, if you have already, you just know what that remedy is. Someone sometimes doesn't even have to say anything, and you just know. And I've had this conversation offline with a few people, and it's like, before I used to experience this, I would always doubt myself, number one, because I'm terrible with that. And I was like, no, I don't know anything. Okay, so I start looking in textbooks and it leads me to different remedies, or repertoire again and again. Now I don't do it. I just trust my gut. That gut feeling? Because the remedy doesn't have to fit everything, correct? It doesn't have to. I know we repertoire and we get to the totality, but sometimes one spark is enough to fix everything else.
Totally agree with that. Lately, there was a patient. If I was analyzing all the themes, repertorizing, and there were so many remedies coming up. I could have chosen any of them, but during the consultation, I had an inclination towards a remedy. And as I'm in supervised practice, I was having a chat with my supervisor, and she said that it doesn't sound like the remedy that I want to prescribe. And if I feel like, I can go ahead with that. And I recently, just last week, had a follow-up with that patient, and she's doing so well on all levels. If I would have not let myself go with my personal instincts, because I'm an individual, that's why I'm studying homeopathy as an individual, I will build my own way of coming to a remedy. If I would have not listened to that intuition that I was getting at that time, I might not have those results. And the patient, I might have had to go to another remedy and another remedy and another remedy at that time. But as you have so clearly said, we need to build that intuition as well. We need to listen to what the patient is transferring to us, the energy, the wavelength, the sparks. Where are the sparks? Where is the energy? Where is the movement? We can't go anywhere, but that is just so profound.
The disease, like, it communicates, right? Whatever the chronic is or the acute, is actually communicating with us. And as you said about the more that we listen to our intuition, like it's being that energy channel to take on board that communication, like, even, and trying not to let any noise get in the way. And I think everything you just said there is just like, that's wonderful that you could hear that clearly.
And of course, the opposite is also true, where I've just been reviewing a case where I actually was biased towards someone who I had heard speak somewhere, and I came to certain conclusions, and I wasn't far off because the position on the periodic table and everything was correct. And I'm now reviewing it, and I am looking back at the case, and I'm writing back what she said, and I just thought, okay, actually, it was all there. It was all there. It was all speaking to me from the very first moment. The person can't lie. I mean, what they tell you doesn't lie. So that's beautiful. I can now see exactly where where I should have gone, and that is fine. It's a process. The patient is trusting me. It's the third time that we speak, and I can now see what's going to help her completely, which is great.
Yes, I agree totally with the process. Yes, we really, I told to my patients, the first time we have the remedy, it might help a little bit of you. But once we have the follow-ups one time or maybe the second time, so it will open up the whole case. So don't worry in the first time. So we can go with the patient to the healing journey. So I like to use healing journey, as Naila said. So it is a very wonderful homeopathy path we can go through to the health.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it, Jackie? How that comes about in intuitive prescribing. I know we may be slightly going off tangent, but it's true that we can feel that remedy, right? And I think it's so important because when we look at James Tyler Kent and Dr. James Tyler Kent, and he taught the science and the art is very different. This is part of the art, is it not? To be intuitive or to just feel that remedy or smell that remedy, call it what you may. That's the artist part, because we're all unique. We're all brilliant homeopaths. Well, you certainly are. I can't put myself in there, but you're all brilliant homeopaths, and or you're going to be, certainly. And but you're going to be, with the same palette, you're all going to paint different portraits, but they're all masterpieces. Isn't that just the best thing, the best medicine in the world?
Very much so. And I love what Kester and Naila call it as the healing journey, because I don't think there's anywhere in the health industry where we get to create a partnership like nowhere else, where we really are being trained to not just listen, but absorb the energy, absorb the signatures, the energy that's being communicated to us. And this really allows us to see the entire body, soul, spirit. I don't think there's a partnership anywhere else. And part of the beauty of the healing journey is we're not leaving them alone. We've got their back, and we're going to walk through it with them. And I think that's why we get this beautiful healing right at the beginning. There's always this bump of enthusiasm, like the person can relax, and then we get to see and learn way more about them. But the art of intuition and the healing journey, we are so blessed to be in this medicine.
And I love to call it green medicine because it's also green for our planet. No, what can we ask for? Nothing, no pollution, no nothing, and just pure healing or feeling better, sleeping well, eating well, energy rises.
Yeah, and
some
no
sugar
side
globules.
effects.
No side effects, just
Right.
a few sugar globules or a drop or something.
Yeah, and the most wonderful thing is the patient, they don't feel anything if they have the correct remedy. They have the total healthy mentally, emotionally, and physically. They come back, I feel nothing. There's nothing else I can say. So it's the most wonderful thing we can do here.
Hahnemann aphorism number 3, isn't it? You have the correct remedy and the right dose, and you know what is the block to the disease, and you know what to prescribe to get the healing. It's amazing, yeah, amazing. Because I gave the right dose to my very, very happiness. This person having a lifetime of illness and cystitis and chronic fatigue and Epstein-Barr and everything, and I only gave it 200, and the healing was seamless. There was no aggravation, nothing. It was like almost overnight. They didn't even realize 10 days later, they just realized they were doing so well. They were back to their old self. That's unbelievable.
Amazing.
Amazing. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It reminds me of what my husband says. He says, your medicines work so beautifully that the person doesn't even notice they are getting better. They don't even notice they are getting better until someone points towards the healing. And they sometimes say, oh, nothing happened. When you start asking them, oh, is this pain or that pain or that pain? Oh, that's gone. That's actually gone. I never thought about it.
My husband also said that was me, myself doing the healing. Oh, I don't believe in you. That's also myself is doing that. That's wonderful. Yeah.
It is actually myself that's doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just giving a catalyst. I'm just giving you a nudge, your vital force, a little slight nudge. And your body is doing this. It's our body. It's marvelous. It's amazing what our body can do. It can heal it can help from one thing to another. I don't want to name any diseases here, but we are wonders. Our body is a wonder.
I think that's the part that contradicts the way that we have always thought from childhood, right? Like we are not capable of healing ourselves. We have to see somebody else who is going to heal us. We are not capable of understanding our needs. No, we don't know. The body is very complicated. No, what you're thinking in the mind cannot be related to, the feet pain or the abdominal pain that you're having. Oh, no way. Separate abdomen pain is separate, and then knee pain is separate. Everything is separate. So no confidence in our own selves. So mothers are never taught that you can take care of your own babies. That was how it used to be thousands of years back when we were cavemen. But that is what true healing or true family or true nurturing looks like. And homeopathy, I love to use the word nurture because this is the only medicine that nurtures the spirit and the body at the same time.
Surely everything is connected. The old song, the thigh bone's connected to the knee bone. Everything's connected. It just makes complete sense to treat someone or be treated as a whole rather than apart.
The joy and beauty is that everything is, you're so right, Sally, it's all connected and we are all connected, and laugh what somebody may and joke about it and say, oh, this is not true. It's, I recently did a post, right, and it was about the fact that we're talking to each other, okay, I've got a cable in my computer, but most of you might be on Wi-Fi, right? We can't see Wi-Fi. We can't see electricity, right? Mm-hmm. We can't see these waves. And everybody knows and everybody works with them because everybody's connected and everybody talks. Mm-hmm. But as soon as you talk about frequency and vibrations, it's like, oh, what nonsense are you on? You're on cuckoo land. It's like, well, hang on a minute. So it's like using Wi-Fi to connect with somebody on WhatsApp as a video call or on Zoom. And you see that process of me being here and watching you and you watching me. That's the same as homeopathy. But with homeopathy, you actually have to take something to manifest that. And that manifestation is improvement and well-being in your health, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, and sometimes if the energy medicine is in your energy field, it also has profound effects, and that's how energy is basically. When you think about a remedy, or when some people wear remedies around their neck, some people sleep with remedies and still get their effects. So like different modalities, different ways of actually taking that remedy into the energy field of the person can have profound effects, and so much of healing can happen just by that.
I have come across a homeopath who just has an LM which he dilutes and succusses and lets the patient sniff the LM every day, and the people are getting better.
That's actually quite a nice point, because my father used to have these remedies alongside everything else, which were the remedies which you could smell. And they worked.
And they worked, yes.
And nobody can tell me otherwise. I can't explain it. Okay, maybe I can't, or maybe I can. Well, actually, I can. I've got a lot to say. But anyway, let's say in the grand scheme of things, I couldn't explain it. But if it works, then it works, okay? And it works. Okay, maybe it's not going to work for the second or third person, but I saw it work. I know it works.
Yeah.
There is a homeopathic remedy, as you very well know, as for the listeners, of course. homeopathy is such that you can even put it on your pulse points and it works, you know? Because it's energy.
Isn't that with susceptibility as well? So it's like if we're susceptible to different acutes or diseases or however, like as individuals, then wouldn't taking the remedy be, we are susceptible in different ways. Some people it works where they sniff it, some people it's on their skin, or whether it's the tablet. So I would imagine, yeah. I'm still learning so much. Sorry, I just make it constantly.
You rightly said, like, for example, some people are allergic to the smell of flowers. They're susceptible to it. Can you see the smell? Can you feel the smell? It's just a smell. So why not a remedy? If you sniff the remedy, why not? We have receptors there. We have nerves there.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. When
my grandson was a few weeks old, he had terrible colic, and we just couldn't pacify him at all. And we dropped 2 drops of chamomilla on the top of his head, and it was almost instant. It was like somebody had chopped his head off. And that was a real big eye opener for me. I'd never sort of seen that in action before. But there were 3 of us there, Mum, Dad, and me. And we all just looked at each other. We couldn't believe it, that it could just work so fast.
I've got this combination remedy from Germany, which is called blue, funnily enough. And, well, actually, it's not funny, but it's called blue. Could have been called green, right? And it's for migraines and acute migraines. And it's just like off the shelf. So you've got a migraine. You just need to get rid of it. And all you do is take 2 drops and put them on the temple. You rub them into the temple. And it fixes the problem immediately. And I've seen it happen so many times. And you think, wow, you know, that's just every moment, right? When you use homeopathy and a patient responds is such a wow moment, is it not? It so reinforces the potential of healing. You know, there is a cure for every disease except death, right? On this planet. And they're discovering new things all the time. There's research going on now about space exploration and how homeopathy can help astronauts. I mean, it's mind-boggling, right? Talk about the etheric field. I know it's a bit higher, but, you know, we're certainly looking that way, aren't we? So the possibilities are endless, are they not, for homeopathy?
If we are affected by the moon, the times of the moon, if we are affected by the stars, how can we not be affected by anything else? We are all connected in one way or another. This takes me to the proving experience that we get in our school. Our school arranges a proving, and Jodie was my supervisor in that proving. And we know certainly how just taking one globule of one remedy takes us to a journey of that remedy without even knowing the substance. We become that substance for next 2 months, and it's so profound when we come back together after a month. We're not talking to each other. We're not telling anyone any symptoms that we are experiencing. And somehow on paper, everyone is experiencing 90% the same symptoms. Wow. It cannot be made up. It should be coming from somewhere.
Absolutely. In fact, it's a good point you've raised, Naila. So has anyone else been involved in provings here today?
Yes, me with Naila.
Right. Wonderful. And how was your experience?
It's wonderful. I'm mostly I got the physical symptoms, and I believe Naila got most of the mental symptoms.
Poor Jodie.
And I know there is someone who didn't take the remedy, not in our group. The year after, someone didn't take the remedy, but they have the group effect. She was also infected by the group proving. So it's wonderful.
I remember when you guys did your proving, and that our year were like, I think that you can feel it in the school, right? At Hawkwood that weekend when it's the proving weekend, like you can just feel it like everywhere. Like it was, it was fantastic. It was absolutely amazing to,
it is the energy.
We talk about the etheric field. Of course, you know, for many years, also before we got some more physical evidence in the form of photo type of evidence of universities where you can actually see the acupressure points that go over the over the body on the meridians. We have more backup now in terms of physics that can kind of support many things that for years people just put into this kind of shadowy sort of like fairy tale type of thing, not proving. Yes, of course we noticed that things were happening, but to the absolute septic, that would be very difficult. Now we have bioresonance. People sometimes go for an allergy test and they can see a little meter come out when the frequency is detected of something that doesn't resonate with your own biofield. So there is more evidence to the kind of total newbie available, that there are actually things happening that we cannot see with the naked eye that do affect our bodies. And I have experience with a therapy called NAET, which blood allergy and elimination therapy, which works with gynecology. And we get stories there of a patient falling from a horse, leaning against a leather saddle, and then becoming allergic to leather because the body has made a message saying this leather is dangerous for you. And that is entirely done through an emotional signal that happened at the time of trauma. So, there is so much evidence in different disciplines that, something invisible is happening that is just talking through us and to us, and, causa causalis.
Woohoo!
I know.
Do any of you find, like, I feel that the conversation is a lot more open with, obviously, between ourselves here is like that we're all studying homeopathy, right? Because we love it and we believe in it. But I find even like my friends, my colleagues, I still work in the corporate world while I'm training in homeopathy. But the conversation is so much more open towards this kind of medicine that people are starting to maybe lose trust or question. Maybe it's question's the right thing. And I'm finding that's such a wonderful thing, because I think that changes the energy all around us as well. There's like, whilst the world might feel slightly crazy, there is these wonderful experiences of like energy feeling a lot more positive and a lot more open in the conversations that we have.
And all of this conversation is also filled with great energy, you can feel it, right? If you just focus, you can feel that. I just want to ask Carol, just what are your experiences so far, and as far as homeopathy is concerned, how is that feeling and how is that energy for you?
I think when I first was introduced to it, it just blew me away, and it hasn't stopped ever since the day it blew me away. So I've seen my own child. He really responded to belladonna one time when he was young, where he had a very bad fever and he was just screaming. I just grabbed belladonna, put it on his tongue, and he just stopped. And that's just the miracle. You see it once and then you can't believe it, and you just see more and more miracles. So for me, it's just ongoing.
What about you, Sandra?
Well, similar. I was actually home prescriber for about 9 years before I started studying formally. And I was baptized by fire because of my daughter's allergies. She can't actually take any medicine. So since she was about 2 months, I've only been using a remedies kit to home prescribe. So I was convinced. Yeah, I was completely convinced. Oh, and back to the possibilities of homeopathy as well. What I really like is that we don't gatekeep it. We really want people to know the remedies and to be able to apply themselves. And it's to the extent that people can't believe it. They ask me if I sell remedies. They ask me if I have a discount code. They think I have commissions or something. But I'm sure all the homeopaths, I just want to share, like, this can help you. This doesn't have side effects. I've experienced this for 9 years, so now I study it. And when I study it, I get just more proven evidence on it. Please use it. And to some people, it does get eventually. It's sort of contagion, a good type of contagion.
Yeah. What about you, Jodie?
Well, I think something worth mentioning about proof that it works. One day my cat walked in and I thought, what's wrong with his eye? And he had this great big sort of lump in his eye. And I thought, oh, I'll have to deal with that. So I'm sorry, I think I gave him Hepasulf, and I think he'd been in a fight or something, so it might have been Leadham or anyway. I went off back to my office and I was working, and then at the end of the day, he walked in and I thought, oh, and it had burst, and I literally wiped it away with warm cotton wool, and he was sort of looking strangely at me. And then I think I gave him something else. I can't remember off the top of my head. I thought, well, let's just finish the process. And the next day it was completely gone. And, so animals don't lie. And that's the thing, you can use things with them and you just see them transform in front of you. And also, I've seen things with my own children where my son, when he was really young, he was probably only about 2, and he woke up at midnight and he was barking like a seal in the doorway, and I gave him Drosera, and it's literally stopped, and he's never had it since. So yeah, I mean, I've seen things like that. I've seen obviously patients in my clinic that come along with more chronic symptoms, and yeah, it's a joy, isn't it? And sometimes they'll come along and say, well, yeah, it was great, but it's not really moving the needle, but it uncovers more, doesn't it? So you can then delve deeper and then work with them. And it's all about, I think, for patients, clients, it's about them finding the right homeopath for them as well, and having that resonance so that they will open up and that they will trust you, and that that you're there and that you will be in contact. So yeah, I just enjoy the whole process and just being there for people and for helping. So yeah, I finally found what I want to do in life at the age of 50. Hallelujah.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
Oh, how interesting.
No placebo, right? With animals, there is no placebo.
No, absolutely not.
There isn't. What about you, Anindita?
Yeah, so my journey began when I was faced with a very life-changing disease, and then I was led to a revered homeopath. Now I know what the disease was for. At that point in time, it was really fatal. But now I know the answers why the universe wanted me to have the disease. So when I went to the homeopath, he gave me a remedy, and that was in India. I took the remedy, and I never looked back. And allopathy had no answer to it, and it was so severe and so fatal, it just meant the end of life. So I wouldn't be here if not for homeopathy. It was that extreme for me. So just seeing something so simple cure me so deeply without even having to look back. And I had a very, very deep pathology related to the blood. So I was astounded and blown apart. So I thought I have to take a deeper look into that. I left what I was doing at that point in time. I got into the school of homeopathy and I started studying. And that was when I started my journey, and I completed my course. I'm into practice now. I was into supervision, everything, and it has never stopped to amaze me. Every single case, every time has always been such a beautiful learning. Everybody, and it's been magical for the patient as well, or for the client. So it has always amazed me, but the bigger thing is that it has always amazed my clients also. So they were very surprised. Oh my goodness, this is fine. This got over. And the very fact that it could be so gentle, this is how true healing should be. And this is what we thought we are getting when we went to the doctor. This is how the true healing modality should be. And I have never looked back, and I'm still in the pursuit of the best ways to heal my clients. So I'm in that journey. I finally know what to do in life, just like Jodie said, and I knew it was my inner calling. Like something within me just told me, and it was awakening, and that is what the remedy did for me. It just awakened everything up. It's not only about the disease; it awakens the mind, and that's exactly what happened to me. I come from a background which is completely 360 degrees opposite to medical science. I come from an engineering background, which is very, very logic oriented, very mathematical oriented, not really very artistic. And here I come, and here I'm completely converted and into this. So, I mean, that is how my journey has been, and I'm still on this path of exploration.
Generally, when our children get sick, if we were not homeopaths or before we were homeopaths, let's say, the first instinct, if it's a fever, and generally, it's 40 plus, right? We panic. And after the panic, it's like, oh, what do you do? And then you call emergency services, or you run to the pharmacy, or you call people, and it's this panic, and you're sitting with the child all the time, and it's the frustration and the worry. Now, move fast forward and forget everything in the middle for now. At the end, the result, you've been introduced to homeopathy, you've got a remedy kit at home, and I don't know, let's say it's a typical belladonna fever, right? You give belladonna, you've experienced it works, and everything's gone. Now, next time it happens, for the parents, 90% of the anxiety is gone, because it's not like, oh my God, my son or daughter's woken up with a fever, what do I do? It's like, oh, you've got a fever. Totally different conversation, isn't it? Let me take belladonna. Let me just check in the book if it's this one is the one that's right for you, or is it aconite or gelsemium, whatnot. And you give the remedy, but there's so much assurity, isn't it, there? So much peace of mind, no panic. So you've removed so much, so many layers that are involved, right? What do you think, Sally? Yeah, you're on mute. And that's the fun of the Homeopathy Health Show. These things actually do happen. Woohoo!
I totally agree with that. I love it. In the old days, you would immediately panic and give something to actually remove the fever. And now in my homeopathy journey, I've learned how important a fever actually is as part of the healing process. So I think a little bit about educating the people around you, about that and about the beauty of homeopathy to help, especially their children move through that fever, in order for the healing process to actually happen. Yeah.
I want to share a case. I want to share about the homeopathy kit. It was so simple. It's very easy to use. I have a friend who is just recently got pregnant, and she's going to deliver soon. And I got the remedy kit, the pregnant 18 kit, to her for her a gift for her. And she told me, I have a little bit runny nose or a little bit cold symptoms. So I just checked the booklet in the kit and found that gelsemium for the cold symptom before the delivery. So the symptoms was gone just the next day. So she has the happy delivery. So it was wonderful. And it's very simple, very easy to use.
Interesting, isn't it, Jackie? We look at this and we think, that element, and then the surprise initially, where that, oh my God, it worked. And then when it works, then it doesn't matter who's around you, and you just calm down, take this, it'll be okay. It's so nice to be able to be in that position, right? To be able to help in the most confident way, because you know what's going to happen. You know that knowledge of disease, right? You know the cycles of a fever.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact that you get to witness it and then they get to experience it. And I think as homeopaths, we're always looking for that wonderful feeling because we get to witness it over and over. I remember the first time I saw it for real for myself. I had dogs that were playing and they collided. And by that evening, one of the dogs couldn't walk or even open her jaw to eat. So 9 hours later, in the hospital at the vet, waiting for a diagnosis, they said it was a severe spinal injury. Have to take some heavy duty meds, crater for 2 weeks, follow up by an MRI, spinal surgery, and then another week at the hospital. So on the way home, I thought, oh, I don't know if I can ask my dog to go through spinal surgery. That's a big deal. But call homeopath, see what we can do. Did a few remedies. The next day she was able to eat. But by the third day, this dog is rolling on her back in the grass, enjoying the sunshine like nothing happened. I took some remedies to get over all that, but she was fine, like there was no issues at all. It's an incredible feeling to see it and see somebody heal so quickly and so well.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Hey, look, you won't believe it, but certainly part 1 is coming to an end. But I have some questions for you. So just a bit of fun, okay? And the questions are, what are your 3 favorite remedies and what are your 3 favorite books? Now, what I mean by 3 favorite remedies is not for the patient or repertorization, but just ones that you personally just like. Yeah, we all like remedies. I'm sure we have favorites, right? Just like we have favorite albums or whatnot. So I'll mix it up a bit. So let's start in no particular order. It's like I'm on a quiz show, aren't I? Jodie, favorite 3 books. And they don't have to be in specific order.
Well, isn't that funny? I must have known that you were going to ask me this question. So there's my first one.
Oh my God.
Oh, let me think. Oh, this is fancy picking me first. I love the Lax book.
Yep.
And I also love Peter Fraser's books.
Good.
So like his birds and all of those spiders. Yeah, I love all of those. My favorite remedies would be sepia, arsenicum, and kelp carb.
Oh, wonderful. Good choices. Good choices. Bravo. Okay, so I see Sandra is writing because this is audio. So over to you then. No pressure, right?
Because I'm a book hoarder, I have hundreds. It's so hard to choose. I was just looking at them.
You won't have more than me, trust me. I'll share
see
one
what
day
you
soon.
share, I believe you. I really like Jerry Cantor's. I've seen you shared it, The Same Asylums. Then all the series from Tony Anderson, and also a book called From Cave to Computer by Maria Jaffe. I think that's the last name.
Brilliant. And remedy choice?
Remedies, arnica, belladonna, and I've just discovered a small one that really helps me to study. It's crocus sativus or saffron. It's just saffron.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was reading about that just last night for something. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. What are the chances of that happening? Right. In no particular order. Rebecca, woohoo.
Well, hopefully my battery's going to last long enough. Be quick. Favorite remedies. Rust tox. No, sorry. First, rust tox, definitely. Calc Foss and Passatilla.
Nice. And books.
So, Inspiring Homeopathy by Tina Smits. I think it's a fantastic book.
Yeah, I've got it in the back there, yeah.
Yeah, it's love that one. I'm just looking at my bookshelf at the moment. So there's actually one called Practical Homeopathy by Vinton McCabe, which is someone gave it to me, and I found that to be so helpful as well. And I think there's another one. Oh, sorry. I'm not sure. Yeah, can't think of a third one. You have to, yeah.
Wonderful choices. Sally.
Books, The Impossible Cure, which I've been reading for part of my course and absolutely loved it. I love George Vitulkus, the science, medicine for the new millennium in particular, and probably Philip Bailey, homeopathic psychology. I just think that's fascinating, such insight into the personality of the remedies.
He's written this one as well.
Okay.
The Lac Remedies, so it's different, slightly different to Patricia's book, you know? Yeah.
Favorite remedies, definitely arnica. It's always out at my place. We've also had, big incidents of paper wasps. So apis, when they chase you down the backyard and sting you on the way straight in the door to get the apis. And probably the other one for me is lachesis, because it changed my life. And yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah. Not that you
Wonderful.
prescribe it much, but for me, yeah, it's got a special place in my heart.
You mentioned paper wasps.
Yeah.
Well, why paper?
I don't know why they're called that, actually. They build little nests and they're really aggressive. They build them in trees, so you could be, just trimming your tree, or they build one in your garden shed. You walk in to get a shovel and suddenly they're chasing you and they hurt like hell.
Wow, as long as they don't come in A4 size, it's okay, You get it? Do you get the joke?
Yes, I get the joke.
Okay. So let's move to Anindita. Favorite 3 remedies and favorite 3 books.
The favorite 3 remedies, it's hard to pick, but definitely arnica, rustox, and can I pick 4?
Of course.
Arsenicum and phosphorus.
Nice.
4 of
Phosphorus, a
them.
good choice.
Yeah, and the favorite, again, books, it's so hard to pick because just 3 books are too less. I would say the ones that come from top of my head from daily usage, Boric, Materia Medica. Then I read a lot of Burnett and Farooq Master's Children Remedies. Yeah.
I met him recently and he's absolute legend, The knowledge that he has in his head is absolutely profound, It's just like a living repertory. It's just incredible.
He is a
Living Materia Medica.
Yes, he's a walking Materia Medica. He's a walking repertory. He knows every remedy like a mother knows the child on the back of his hand. Yeah.
Okay, so over to you, Carol, my dear.
My favorite 3 remedies are Hepburn Sulph and Nux and Arsenicum.
Ooh.
And then I just bought 3 books that I'm excited to get into, and I've just been leafing through them. So I'll say those are my 3 right now. The Tom Jensen book, Nariani series that you're getting into. I've bought, volume 1, 2, and 3, and it's just loaded. And then the Colin Griffith books.
Brilliant. Wonderful. Good leading choices. Sandra, we've done, Jackie.
I think my 3, it's so hard to pick, but Arnica, Ignatia, Carbo Veg, but falling in love with Okubaka now.
Ooh, one of my favorites, my all-time favorites. Very IBS remedy,
Yeah, it's a nice one to get familiar with. And the book's very similar to Carol, is the Nariani series. That one I even have on my nightstand. Been really enjoying Colin Griffith's books. And I guess a third would be, I always hang on to Jill Turlin because she's the one that introduced me to a whole new avenue with homeopathy. So that's where I am.
Wonderful. Kester.
Oh, yeah, my favorite remedy, first one is arnica. Yeah, always arnica. And I like Josemium and also Natmu.
Ah, good choice. They're all good choices, aren't they?
No, everyone is good choice.
That's why I'm saying it for everyone.
Okay. And 3 books. Yeah, the first one, I'm looking at this one. This is the relationship, the remedy relationship. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was very good. Yeah, I just have follow up this afternoon, and I'm looking for in the book, and there are foods that he needs to avoid. So I can be a nutrition with this book as well. Yeah, and second book is the Sankran schema with a lot of the plants. They have a very systematic differentiation of the plants in families and the sensations and mechanisms. Yeah, that's a good one. And the final one is Narayami. Yeah, I was talking about arnica, the remedy, my favorite remedy, arnica, and now I changed it to the injury mix. Yeah, it is a Narayani remedy. Yeah, it was so wonderful.
That will change as well as you see more and more of them come into use.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to Alice. You just need to unmute. Ladies and gentlemen, it's happened again. And it's still happening live on air. Alice, you're on mute. And Alice is still on mute. And I think she's going to continue to be on mute. This is fun, isn't it?
She's looking for it. She's looking.
Okay, so I was going to leave.
I am back. Sorry,
Okay.
Atik. I'm so
Woohoo,
sorry.
I'm
My
back.
screen
That's
was
what-
a bit unresponsive there.
That's what Arnold
And now I've
Schwarzenegger
got
says,
my
isn't he?
video
I'll be
off
back.
as well. I'm a nuisance tonight. Calc Sulf is, I think, in my opinion, quite underprescribed. So I do like that, and it is a lot more needed than people think. Carcinosin Co, which is Tina Smith's anti-cancer miasm remedy, which is so useful to unblock stuck cases, and I use it quite a lot. And the very first Medarhinum gave me a huge breakthrough for somebody. So that was always a case that was very encouraging to me. And then I like the books by DJ Grant George. He's a French homeopath, and I think he's very, very clear, especially just a nice little new insight in remedies or children's remedies. From the Netherlands, the Tina Smith's book and Ton Janssen books. And I always have a soft spot for Sankaran's The Soul of Remedies. A quick reference if I just need to look a little bit more into the personality of a remedy. I will usually go back there and have a quick peek at that.
Thank you. And last but definitely not least is Naila Cheema, because, ladies and gentlemen, she is 50% of something called Homeopathy in Practice, which is an initiative that helps you excel in your homeopathic knowledge. So you can contact us at connectinghomeopaths@gmail.com. Hey, that was so much like an advert, wasn't it? But it's my show. I can do it. Okay, Naila, over to you.
Favorite remedies, it's always a challenge when I have to pick few remedies to take with me. Which should I take? Which should I leave? I can't leave them. I just can't. Can't go out without arnica, aconite, arsenic anyway. But I think Califos, phosphoric acid, and carboveg. I'll pick these three today because all the others have been mentioned. If you don't know these remedies, maybe have a look into it. And ferrum tissue salt, marvelous. If you love arnica, look at Bellis perennis as well. You will not regret it. You'll love it. When it comes to books, that's such a tough one, right? At one stage, you are in love with one book, and another stage, you are in love with another one. But the ones that I have been using from my first year is Fatak Materia Medica, Franz Vermeulen's The New Synoptic one. It's discontinued, so if you get hold of a copy from eBay or anywhere, get it, because it gives the nucleus of the remedy. I love that nucleus of the remedy. And Comparative Materia Medica from Richard Pitt. It's my go-to. I always look at it, because if you are looking for a polycrest and you don't have a breakthrough with the polycrest, it gives you the related remedies to that polycrest phosphorus, and then look into which other remedies come up if your patient is a phosphorus patient. Currently in love with the New Materia Medica of Colin Griffith. Oh, he's such a detailed indication of remedies. It goes everywhere with the remedy, takes you to the journey. Bitulka, Sense, Wondrous Order, I can't stop. You have to stop me.
That's a lot more than three, but go on.
I will go on. I'll list each and every one of them. But yeah, just in love with those books, and my library is increasing by the day.
Wonderful. So, and that brings us to the end of this episode, which is the first part of this two-part sit-down. There's so much to talk about, but I'd also like to take this opportunity to say that, thank you for everything that you do, or that you're continuing to, or that you will do. I will rephrase that, because that just didn't come out right. So thank you for everything that you do already, or that you will do in the future for serving humanity. And respect to all the homeopaths out there, actually, each and every one of them on the planet, because we are truly connected because of the fact that we just want to help others, right? That's what it's about, right? To help others. So respect to them all. So until part 2, Jackie Turpin, Kester Wong, Sally Sim, Rebecca Hepburn, Alice Diamond, Sandra, Anindita Sinha, Carol Richards, Jodie Mortimore, and Naila Cheema, and of course myself. Thank you so very much for coming on, and it's been an absolute honor for me. It's been a delight, and hey, onwards and upwards. So thank you so very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So much fun.
Been great.
Loved it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was awesome.
I do hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of the Homeopathy Health Show. Please do support the show by clicking follow on my socials. Remember, the more exposure the podcast receives, the better for homeopathy around the world. You can find me on Instagram by searching for @like_treatslike, and on both Facebook and TikTok by searching for @like_treatslike. So let's promote the voice of homeopathy on radio and podcast around the world together. Don't forget to visit me online at www.liketreatslike.co.uk and click on the radio and podcast tab. Here you'll be able to see all the guests that have joined me on the show so far, and of course you can stream on demand the latest episode to your mobile, tablet or PC. Until next time, stay safe and take care.